All right, I think we're ready to proceed.
Thank you. Good morning. I am Berta Sanchez Hayden, and I'm calling the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau Advisory Committee meeting to order at 10:01 on Wednesday, December 10th, 2025. At this time, we will proceed to item number 2 on our agenda, roll call and establishment of quorum. I would like to note all committee members are attending the meeting remotely. I will ask Angela to call roll and establish a quorum. Angela?
Good morning, everyone. As I call your name, if you can let me know that you are here. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Here.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Here.
Joyce Anthony,
Here.
Linda Ng,
Here.
Alfred Torregano.
Here.
Oh, great, thank you. And then James Moore is not attending the meeting today. Thank you. With 5 members present, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Angela. At this time, we will proceed to item number 3. I would like to ask the advisory committee members and Bureau staff to introduce themselves. I'll start. My name is Berta Sanchez Hayden. I'm chair of the advisory committee, and I am a government appointee for public interest working in Los Angeles, California in legal services. As I call your name, please introduce yourself. Vice Chair Elizabeth Ichikawa.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Ichikawa. I fill the court investigator position on the advisory committee, and I work in Solano County.
Joyce Anthony.
Good morning. I'm Joyce Anthony. I've been a professional fiduciary for 20 years. I work mainly in Santa Clara and San Mateo County.
Thank you. Linda Ng.
Good morning, Linda Ng. I'm from Sacramento. I've been an enroll agent for over 25 years.
Thank you. Alfred Torregano.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Alfred Torregano from Los Angeles, California, entrepreneur and business owner. Happy to be here with you all.
Cynthia Antar.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cynthia Antar, Program Manager for the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau.
Sabina Knight.
Sabina Knight, Legal Counsel for the Bureau.
Angela Quadro.
I'm Angela Quadra, the Program Analyst for the Professional Fiduciaries Bureau.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here and for taking the time for those introductions. We will now proceed to item number 4 on our agenda. Please allow me to briefly address this agenda item. California law prohibits advisory committee members from discussing or taking action on any matter not on the agenda. However, this item offers an opportunity for the public to comment on items that are not listed on today's agenda. Please be aware that the public comment during this agenda item should provide information to the advisory committee members and is not meant to be a discussion between the advisory committee and the public. Though this may seem at times like as the advisory committee or bureau staff are not being responsive, please follow these guidelines. Following these guidelines is critical to ensuring the rules of the Open Meetings Act are followed. Before the advisory committee asks for public comment, I respectfully ask individuals making comments not to discuss pending complaints, pending licensing applications, or pending disciplinary actions that may come before the Bureau's legal counsel. Such discussions are considered ex parte communications by potentially providing information to the Bureau's legal counsel outside of the administrative record in a case. The advisory committee requests that you also respect the privacy of others by not revealing the names, other personal information, any conditions of an individual involved in any case or complaint. The advisory committee can receive comments regarding the Bureau's process in general. However, it cannot receive comments on specific cases. If you want the advisory committee to discuss a topic not on today's agenda, you may request that that item be considered for a future meeting agenda during public comment on agenda item number 11. However, please be aware that an agenda item recommendation does not obligate the Bureau to fulfill that request. If your comment is related to an item on today's agenda, please wait until we get to that agenda item. Comments at this time are only for items not on the agenda. To allow the advisory committee sufficient time to conduct its full schedule of business, each comment will be limited to 2 minutes. Please do not duplicate or repeat the comments of a previous speaker. I will now turn to public comment. Since we are having a hybrid meeting, I will start each public comment agenda item, including this one, with individuals attending the meeting in Sacramento, followed by individuals attending the meeting via WebEx. I would now like to invite members of the public attending the meeting at the Sacramento location to provide comments on agenda item 4, items not on the agenda. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx. Moderator?
Now is the time for members on WebEx to raise their hand. You can do so by tapping the hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. If you are a dial-in user, you may need to dial *6 to unmute. All right, we're going to try ANO.us again. You may need to dial *6 to unmute.
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, welcome. Go ahead, please. You'll be
Yes,
given 2
thank you.
minutes, and I'll
I
give
had
you
a
a 30
comment.
second.
Oh, excuse me. I apologize. Can I
Go
make a
ahead,
comment
please.
now?
Yes,
Thank
please.
you. I was wondering if you don't mind to explain the agenda lineup for this call. I looked on the meeting minutes or the agenda on the minutes or whatever they call it, but I don't see clearly what we're going to discuss, so that I don't kind of go in and out or say something on the wrong section. Do you mind just telling me that real quick, and then I can go ahead and give this question on the right, or this comment on the right section?
I will defer to our counsel for this matter as to the proper way to proceed.
Um, Yes, our agenda is posted online on the Fiduciaries website, and that is probably where you got maybe the link to log into the WebEx meeting. You can locate the agenda there under, I think it says under Bureau Meetings.
Yes, I read it here too, but if you mind just saying it for the call, just so we know what is on the agenda, if you don't mind. I just don't see how.
Well,
we're saying
actually,
discussion.
each
Mhm.
item, you'll see a slide on the screen that will tell you what item we are on and which item it is. The moderator will put that up.
Right. So the first will be a call to order, and then there will be roll call. Then it'll be advisory committee members, program manager, staff, and legal counsel introductions. Number 4 would be public comment on items not on the agenda. Is that where we're on now? Public comment,
Correct.
items
Correct.
okay. All right. So then I can comment. I was commenting as I would like to know if we could go ahead and for the complaints that are made, if that could be is that transferred into the court's system, so the court knows that there's complaints going on, and if there's any violations or citations, is that also transferred to the court so that the courts know that the licensee has a disciplinary action, or is under investigation, or has citations or violations or expirations or revocations? That's my comment.
Okay, sir. I'm going to have the moderator put the Bureau email address into the chat box for you, and you can send your information and questions to that email address. Thank you, moderator.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'll do that later, but I just wanted to know that for the rest of the board.
A question for our gentleman. Are you calling in? Can you see the screen?
I cannot see the screen, but I'm calling in over the phone, telephone.
Okay. The email address is fiduciary@dca.ca.gov, and I'll be happy to spell that for you. in just a second.
I have that. I have that email.
Oh, you have that email? Okay,
Yes,
please use
yes. I
that
just
email.
wanted to know this for the advisory board, though. The Commonwealth for the advisory board. Yes.
All right.
It was directed to the advisory board, if you don't mind. The advisory board, if there's a violation citation on somebody's license, on a license fee, does that get directed to the court? Do the courts know about that? Do they know that they have to stop and hold on because there's some
Sir,
action being done? It's a very simple question. Go
sir,
ahead.
yes.
Or is it
So this is
comment?
sir,
Yeah.
this is public comment
Yes,
for
ma'am.
items not on the agenda, and we're not going to talk about anything specific enforcement action. If you have questions
Sure, that's
about
just a
an
comment.
enforcement
Yes, ma'am.
action, please email the email
Yes,
provided.
ma'am. Thank you. That
Thank
was a
you.
comment. Thank you.
Moderator, is there anyone else with public comments on the telephone?
That was our only request for public comment.
Okay. Thank you, moderator. At this time, we will proceed to item number 5 on the agenda. Cynthia, please read the Bureau's mission statement.
My pleasure. The Bureau's mission is to protect consumers through licensing, consumer education, and enforcement of the Professional Fiduciaries Act, and promote and uphold competency and ethical standards across the profession.
Thank you. Any comments or discussion from advisory committee members? At this time, I'd like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments on this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. Moderator, are there any members of the public that online that would like to, on the phone, who would like to make a public comment?
All right, WebEx, now is the time to raise your hands if you'd like to make a comment. You can do so by tapping the hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand. And our first request is coming from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute. This is on agenda item 5.
Great, great. This is a comment for item number 5. You're saying that there's a mission statement. Is that mission statement involving protecting the? If it's involving protecting the public, do you not agree that that information should be spread out to the public? If there is a license that's been revoked or has been there's a disciplinary action, or there's any violation citation, does it not get transferred to the rest of the public in terms of going to the courts so the court judges and the administration know that this licensee has an issue with their license, they should not be continuing? That's my comment. That's for the advisory board, so they know that what needs to be done.
Thank you for your comment.
Yep.
There are no other requests for public comment. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you to the individuals who have provided comment, and thank you to the moderator. We will now proceed to item number 6 on the agenda. Are there any suggested edits to the September 10th, 2025 meetings minutes by committee members? As no one has indicated that, oh, I apologize. Was someone speaking? Yep. As there no indication that no one has any changes, I'd like to ask if there is a motion to approve the September 10th, 2025 minutes to allow Bureau staff to make non-substantive edits if needed.
I make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
I second it.
Thank you, Joyce. Are there any discussion, questions, or comments from committee members before we proceed? Seeing as no one has indicated, I would now like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via moderator.
WebEx is taking public comment on agenda item 6 and the motion. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute.
Yes, hi. I wanted to, I guess I'm the only one making comments here today. I wanted to comment on the previous, I guess this idea that we're
This is
clearing.
for the meeting minutes and the motion.
Okay, so the motion, yes. So I'm not sure if the panel knows that the public does not have the same information or the same access to the to be involved in these decisions that are being made. Now, I'm not sure if that's even an option for the public, but if it is the option for the public, I think there should be some sort of information, some sort of way that we can get involved, not by
My
sending an email.
apologies. This is not on topic.
Comment number 6.
You're going to be muted
No,
now.
it is on topic, sir. It's not. It is on topic. It's on topic.
This does not sound like a comment on the meeting minutes or the
Well,
motion.
if you don't, I have 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes to tell you. I'm bringing it all in at the end. I will bring it back in. It is all on topic.
My apologies, you've been muted. There are no other requests for comment.
Thank you. Angela, can you please repeat the motion and call the roll?
Good morning again. The committee will be voting to approve the minutes as written and to allow the Bureau to make non-substantive edits if needed. As I call your name, please respond, and a yes vote will be to approve this motion. Bertha Sanchez Hayden,
Yes.
Elizabeth Ichikawa,
Yes.
Joyce Anthony,
Yes.
Linda Ng,
Yes.
Alfred Torgano,
Yes.
and James Moore is absent.
Motion carries.
And the motion carries with 6 yes votes, and the minutes will be posted to the website as written with non-substantive edits if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. At this time, we will now proceed to item number 7 on our agenda. I would like to invite the Executive Office to present an update from the Department of the Consumer Affairs. Welcome, Executive Office.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, advisory committee members and bureau staff. My name is Lucy Saldivar of the California Department of Consumer Affairs. Thank you all for the opportunity to provide some updates on behalf of the department. First, I would like to introduce myself as one of the newest members of the department's executive team. I was appointed by Governor Newsom in October to serve as Deputy Director of Board and Bureau Relations. Prior to this appointment, I worked in the state legislature, most recently serving as Chief of Staff for Assemblymember Lisa Calderon. I also previously served as an Assembly Fellow and Legislative Assistant in the Office of Assemblymember Jackie Irwin. I am an alumna of the Hope Leadership Institute program and a member of the California Latino Capital Association Foundation. And it is a pleasure to be here with all of you today. We are also happy to welcome Shelley Jones to the department's executive team. Shelley was appointed by Governor Newsom as the Assistant Deputy Director of Board and Bureau Relations. She brings 29 years of experience and has been with DCA since 2015. She's served in several capacities with DCA's Board and Bureau Relations team and the Solid and Organizational Improvement offices. Prior to joining DCA, Shelley served in multiple roles at the Juvenile Parole Board of the California Department of Corrections. We are so very excited to be serving as your new Board and Bureau Relations team, and we look forward to working with all of you in our new roles. In other news from the executive team, after 36 years of dedicated service at the Department of Consumer Affairs, Director Kimberly Kirkmeyer recently announced that she will retire at the end of this year. Director Kirkmeyer began her career at DCA as a student assistant in 1989. She was appointed by Governor Newsom as DCA director in 2019. Within her first 6 months on the job, she navigated severe wildfires and the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, transitioning the department's 3,500 employees to telework. Director Kirkmeyer would like for me to extend a special thank you for the honor and the opportunity to serve as your director for the past 6 years. She would also like me to thank you for your continued hard work and dedication to the department, the state, and the consumers of California. Your work is invaluable, impactful, and integral to DCA's mission of consumer protection. And she knows that it will continue for years to come because of the extraordinary staff at DCA. Another reminder, as we near the end of another year, DCA is encouraging committee members to review the list of required trainings to ensure continued compliance. As you may remember, sexual harassment prevention training is mandated for completion within 30 days of your appointment to the Bureau and every 2 years thereafter. On October 27th, DCA launched its sexual harassment prevention training in its new training in the learning management system, also known as LMS. If you completed the 24-25 sexual harassment training during those calendar years, the new training will automatically be assigned to your LMS account 2 months before your 2-year mark. But if you have not yet completed that training, the new version has already been assigned to your account as of October 27th. And you should be able to log into your account and begin your training. Going forward, the compliance deadline will either be 2 years from the last completion date for those who already took the training, or by December 27th for those who did not. If you have any questions or need assistance accessing the training or LMS, please reach out to our team at memberrelations@dca.ca.gov. And lastly, we are officially in the season of giving, and DCA is honored to join in 2 annual charitable campaigns: the Our Promise California State Employees Giving at Work campaign and the State Employees Food Drive. Every year through the Our Promise California State Employees charitable campaign, state employees, including committee members, have the opportunity to support the nonprofit causes that they are passionate about through payroll giving or one-time donations. And these contributions have a positive impact on our communities, and it's another way for DCA to show that it cares for California. Please contact Board and Bureau Relations with any questions you might have, or if you'd like information on how you can contribute. The State Employees Food Drive is a collective effort to support food banks statewide. Collection boxes for non-perishable food items are available at 5 Sacramento area DCA offices. But for those not in the area, there are ways for you to support food banks online through the State Employees Food Drive website. Thank you all so much for being a part of the reason that DCA's Giving Spirit is helping those in need this holiday season. With that, thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today, and please let me know if you have any questions or if our team could ever be of any assistance.
Thank you so much. Are there any comments from advisory committee members? Seeing as no one has indicated for any comments, I'd like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about the agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Moderator, at this time, I'd like to ask to call for public comments from any individuals attending the meeting via WebEx.
WebEx, now is the time for people to raise their hands. You can do so by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3. And our first request comes from James Counts II. Hold on just a moment. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You'll be given 2 minutes to speak, and I'll give you a 30-second warning before your time expires. This is on agenda item 7, the DCA update.
Thank you. As he mentioned, my name is James Counts. I'm a CPA and CTFA. First of all, I want to welcome you to the executive offices of the committee. One of the things is I hope you will be attending the full meeting, or at least to hear the public comments after the budget discussion, and also some public comments after the Bureau Chief comments. The Bureau has a couple of major problems that, if they're not fixed, will ultimately end up in major problems and possibly elimination of the Bureau. Unfortunately, in recent years, for whatever reason, the issues have not been fixed. They maybe been worked on recently, but not been fixed, and the Bureau currently is on a downward path towards elimination because of running out of money. And so if you could, I really would appreciate if you could listen to those public comments after those two sessions, and then try and work with the Bureau and see what can be done
30 seconds.
in the future to try and fix the problem, because I believe the fiduciary license is a valid public service that needs to continue. Thank you for my ability to make public comments.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute. We're sending you that request now.
Yes, I wanted to comment on what the gentleman James was mentioning with regards to agreeing to welcoming the new staff. I'm not sure if this is also the chief of the bureau. Are we talking about the chief of the bureau? Is that happening soon? I believe that Ms. May has no longer with the bureau, and that seat's been vacant for about a year. I'm not sure what the story is and what's going on. That's my comment regarding that, and also, when talking about the budget, we're talking about the situation. If you're looking at these fiduciary members, licensees of taking upwards of 20 million in assets, and is there a bond that's going on? Is there a bond that's being protecting the public? Is there some sort of fiduciary bond? If it's $10,000, that's a joke for $20 million. Let's talk about that. That's my comment. Alfred, hopefully he's on this too. Thank you.
Oh,
I guess there won't be any response, but that's just my comment because it's too hard for somebody to respond.
All right, thank you very much. And those are all of our requests for comment at the moment. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you to the individuals who took time to provide public comments. I'd also like to thank you once again for your presentation. At this time, we will move to item number 8 on our agenda. I'd like to invite Brendan Vu from the Department of Consumer Affairs Budget Office to present an update on the Bureau's budget. Brendan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. My name is Brendan Vu, and I'm a budget analyst with the DCA Budget Office. I'm here alongside Brad Lencioni, the budget manager. I want to thank the Advisory Committee and the Bureau for allowing me to present on Agenda Item 8, the Bureau's expenditure projections and fund condition statement. First, I'm going to start with the Bureau's expenditures, page 17 of your materials. These projections are based on actual data through fiscal month 3. This report includes 2024-25 actual expenditures in the green, as well as 2025-26 budgeted and projected expenditures in the blue and orange. As we move to the end of the document, you'll see that the Bureau started with a beginning base budget of a little over $1.1 million and is projected to spend a total of approximately $788,000, creating a reversion to the Bureau's fund of approximately $251,000 with the reversion percentage of 24.15%. The next document I will be going over is the Bureau's revenue projections, page 18 of your materials. Second. Down. Okay. So this report includes receipts collected through September and provides the projected revenue to year end. I will go further into the projections as we transition to the next slide. The next slide, page 19 of your materials, is the Bureau's fund condition statement. Apologies. Okay. So the left column is the Bureau's prior year 2024-25 actuals. It shows the Bureau began 24-25 with a beginning balance of $302,000. And the Bureau is collected $1.298 million in revenues with $223,000 from initial license fees, $1 million from license renewals, and $75,000 collected from the issuance of citations, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenue. The Bureau expended $715,000, which includes $63,000 in direct draws to the fund for statewide prorata and pension payments. The Bureau closed 24-25 with the reserve balance of $885,000 or 12.2 months in reserve. For current year 25-26, the Bureau projects revenues of just over $1.3 million with $159,000 projected from initial license fees, $1.136 million from renewal fees, and $43,000 from the issuance of citations, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenues. The Bureau's 2025-26 expenditures are currently based on the 2025 Budget Act with FM3 projections at $873,000 between authorized expenditures and direct draws to the fund, leaving the Bureau with a fund balance of just over $1.3 million or 13.1 months in reserve. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's revenue and expenditures and report back to the Bureau with monthly expenditure projections as we continue to close the fiscal months in the current fiscal year. A few things to note for the Bureau's fund condition. The fund condition is a snapshot in time. One of the main factors driving expenditure increases in the future years is a result of personnel service adjustments. These include general salary increases, as well as employee compensation and retirement rate adjustments. The Budget Office includes a conservative ongoing 3% increase to the expenditures on the fund condition statement to account for these incremental adjustments. Lastly, I would like to note to the Bureau that any future legislation or unanticipated events could result in the Bureau's need for additional resources, which could create cost pressure on the fund. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's fund condition statement and keep an open line of communication with the Bureau Program Manager for any future needs or expectations. That concludes my presentation. Again, thank you for allowing me to present at today's meeting. I'll be now happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from comments from advisory committee members? As no one has indicated, I'd like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx.
All right, WebEx, now is the time to raise those hands. You can do so by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand. And our first request is coming from James Counts II. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you. This is James Counts, CPA, CTFA. It looks like you're making progress as far as the budget, assuming it leads up to expectations. But unfortunately, when you compare this year's budget and the projected end of the year numbers to the final end of the year numbers for the prior fiscal year, expenses are going up a little over $50,000, but revenue is projected to only be going up less than $21,000. And so if that continues, again, you'll continue to go downhill. Now, granted, there was a major reduction between this year and last year in the budget for expenditures, both at the payment to the Department of Consumer Affairs plus expenditures within the Bureau. But unless further improvements are made. Now, on the revenue side, the 21,000 I'm talking about is basically this first 3 months, you had a new licensee higher than those that retired. Assuming
30
you got
seconds.
16 for the year, that's only $20,800. So that's the 21,000, and so it's very close that even that could change during the year. So you need to work on this further. You're making progress, but you still have to go. Thank you for allowing me to make comments, and I'll talk more later.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 to unmute.
Yes, hi. I don't know if Brandon was going to go ahead and comment on Mr. James' mention about the budget. If he was, then I'm sorry if I was interrupting, then he can go back and comment on that. We talked about the budget here. If you are getting revenue from some of the licensees' violations of citations, and they are reducing those citations by 90%, that's 90%, so from around $5,000 in a citation to all the way to $500 with no rhyme or reason, just because they want to, then that's where the 90% of revenue is being disappeared, just because Miss Rebecca May decides that she wants to reduce that, or whoever the chief is. I think it's very important that those guidelines are established, so they know if you miss a certain deadline, if you are unable to follow the rules, then you need to pay the fines or risk losing your license. That's what the whole idea of having a license is, the regulation. If you're not regulating your own licensees and you're allowing them to have a 90% decrease in revenue, I guess if they're in citations, not only does it make the citation look like a joke, it makes the bureau look like a joke. It makes the licensee gives the licensee power to do whatever they feel like, and that's why I believe that if there is a violation or there is a citation, it needs to go directly to the courts. So the judges need to know, hey, your licensee this fiduciary has not fulfilled their duties, so they are
30
in
seconds.
violation. They should not be doing. They should not be doing any more action until they remedy the situation. I think you're dropping the ball with about 90%, and guys have to wake up, because I think enough is enough. So I'm going to make this comment so the people that are on YouTube, the whole 4 people that watch this video, will say, hey, you got to step up and say something to the state and to this bureau. Thank you.
Thank you. And those are all of our requests for public comment at the moment. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you to those who provided public comment. Once again, thank you, Brendan, for your presentation. At this time, we will move to item number 9. Currently, there are no Assembly or Senate state bills related to the Bureau for discussion. Susan Kilcrease from the Department of Consumer Affairs, Legislative Affairs Office is available for any general questions or comments from committee members. Welcome, Susan. Are there any questions or comments from advisory committee members? Seeing as there are no questions or comments, I'd like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to make comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank
Bertha,
you.
can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yes.
Susan actually has a list of bills that is in the materials or not a list of bills, a list of dates that is in the materials handout that she would like to go over. Just quickly.
I apologize, Susan, for missing that detail. I return the floor over to Susan before proceeding with call for comments. Susan?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Kilcrease. I'm a legislative analyst at DCA's Legislative Affairs Division. I'm here today to give a short update on some legislative timelines for the next legislative year. January 1st, 2026, the statutes will take effect if they were not of urgency last year. January 5th, 2026, the legislature will reconvene for the 2026 legislative session. On January 10th, the state budget must be submitted by the governor. On February 20th, that is going to be the last day for bills to be introduced for this legislative session. May 1st, 2026 will be the last day for policy committees to hear and report to the floor non-fiscal bills introduced in their house. And May 15th will be the last day for fiscal committees to hear and report to the floor bills introduced in their house. June 15th is the budget bill must be passed by midnight, so the budget must be kind of approved and passed. July 3rd through August 3rd is the legislative summer recess, so not much action happens at that time. And August 31st, 2026 is the last day for each house to pass bills and final recess for the legislative year. And that's all I have for you today. I am available for any questions and comments related to legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Committee members, are there any questions or comments? Seeing as no one has indicated, I would now return the floor back to Cynthia in Sacramento. Cynthia, are there any members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento wishing to make comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. Moderator, can you please call for public comment for this agenda item for any members attending the, for any members of the public who wish to provide comment and are attending the meeting via WebEx?
WebEx is open for public comment on agenda item 9 and the legislative update. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute. ANO.us, are you with us? All right, we're going to try that again. We're going to send, oh, hold on. ANO.us, I show you are unmuted. I don't hear audio from you yet. Hold on just a moment. We're going to
Do
cycle
you hear me
this.
now? Do you hear me at
Yeah.
all or no?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, I apologize. Thank you very much. When I push *3, it says you can ask your question. I'm assuming that means that I can ask my question now. And that question is what happens is
This is for public
when
comment on the legislative update.
okay, because it says when it says *3 to unmute yourself and ask your question. So I was just wondering if that's the same thing we're talking about.
This is
So,
not about question and answer session. If you'd like to make a comment on the legislative update, please go
okay.
ahead.
When would I do. But when would the question and answer? Because that's what *3 said. Ask the question. When would that part be? Is that happening today?
I'm not sure when you what the automated response that you're hearing from WebEx.
Okay.
But *3 is to raise your hand. *6 is to mute and unmute.
Okay, but I was under the impression that is there time for question at this meeting or no?
There are no times for question and answer. If you'd like
Okay,
to make a
so can you
comment
tell me
on
where the best place sure, but where the best place be to ask the question to legislate to ask the question to legislation? What would be the best method? And if it's sending an email to fiduciary at dca.ca.gov, just a general mailbox, do you put a certain subject line directed to somebody specific, or is there a way to get all the context of the people that are available to the public to discuss?
There are only a handful of people in that office. I promise that if you send an email to fiduciary at dca.ca.gov, it will be answered.
Okay, and then and the email can contain questions that we have, and then is that how you get onto the agenda meetings, for the next legislation for the next
Yep,
next meeting?
coming up later on in this meeting, there will be a chance to suggest future agenda items.
Great. Okay, thank you. So regarding legislation, for a couple more seconds regarding legislation, I'd like to make sure that that we are all on the same page, that the public is unaware, and that the licensees are also are not affected by any sort of action that's been taken by the fiduciary board with regards to any violations or citations, because it's the courts that they're dealing with, where the fiduciary rule is being implemented, is not aware of this, and they're not sending any notices to that court, so they don't know, and then the public doesn't get the information. So you're walking around having a license fee for nothing. So if you're not going to generate enough in fines, and you're not going to monitor the license or address those licensees that are failing their action, then what are we doing here? We're just wasting our time. So let's
My
step it up,
apologies.
guys.
This is
And
not
just,
on the legislative update.
you can't make that
mute your
decision.
microphone
That's a
now.
comment, man, sir. It's a
I'm,
comment.
this is not.
It's not for.
Please get back
Yeah,
onto the legislative topic, or I'll mute your microphone.
Okay, so it's legislative topic, that's all I'm saying. So in legislation, if there's written certain guidelines, we need to follow those guidelines. That's all I'm saying, just to follow the guidelines. And every single one that's sitting there in the call should recognize that and should say, well, what am I doing here? Am I just collecting a paycheck, or am I actually helping the public? That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. And those are all of our requests for public comment at the moment. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you to the individual who provided comment at this time. And thank you once again, Susan, for coming and to providing that vital information for the framework ahead for the legislative season. At this time, we will now proceed to item number 10 on the agenda. Cynthia, can you please present the Bureau updates?
Yes. So the statistics are in the materials if you would like to follow along with me. Please note that as it relates to the licensing statistics, these numbers reflect what is within the Bureau's control. Any wait times associated with the examination provider are outside of the Bureau's control. The following statistics are for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025-2026, beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending with September 30th, 2025. I will begin with the application and licensing statistics. Since the Bureau's inception, 1,567 total licensees have been issued. As of September 30th, 2025, there were 893 active licenses, 18 inactive, and 32 retired. Applications, the Bureau has received 29 initial applications to take the exam and has issued 36 new licenses. Processing time to approve completed applications to take the exam for the first quarter was 62 days and 8 days to issue a new license after the applicant passed the exam. Renewals, the Bureau has processed 210 licensing renewals, and the average processing time for renewals in the first quarter was 38 days. Moving on to enforcement statistics, the Bureau has received 46 complaints for the first quarter of the fiscal year. Complaints closed, as of the first quarter, the Bureau has closed 58 complaints. Average days to close complaints is 211 days. And please note that increase is due to older cases that were closed, which affected the overall average. Complaints pending, there were 159 complaints pending. And citations issued, the Bureau has issued 7 citations. Attorney General cases initiated, the Bureau has referred 1 case to the Attorney General's office for possible disciplinary action. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Are there any comments or questions from the advisory committee members? Seeing as no one has indicated such, I'd like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you, Cynthia. I will now ask the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx. Moderator, can you please call for public comment from individuals attending the meeting via WebEx for item agenda number 10, Bureau updates?
All right, now is the time for WebEx to raise their hands. You can do so by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand. And our first request is coming from James Counts II. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you. This is James Counts, CPA, CTFA. As I mentioned earlier, I'd like to mention one of the other major issues affecting the Fiduciary Bureau, and that is the high drop-off of licensees from that are retiring or otherwise dropping off from being a licensee. And while for the first 3 months of this fiscal year, you did get 4 more than the 32 that dropped off on an annual basis. At that rate, that's only 16 a year, and it doesn't come close to the needs because of the increase in costs and so forth. And so additional steps need to be made. Otherwise, it will create a major budget problem in the long run because the Bureau will run out of funds and the legislature will have to decide what they would end up doing. Another comment for the Bureau individual manager is, I'm not sure because I didn't go looking to see when the next sunset review is for the Fiduciary Bureau. And so you need to, if you haven't already, some
30
thoughts.
seconds.
Some thoughts on what to consider for next time is ask for the ability to increase the renewal and licensing fees, but allow the advisory board or whoever within the Bureau to identify how much each year they will be increased and not automatically go to that upper limit. Another time I'll try and add more comments on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute.
Yes, it seems like we're back in the same situation when we talk about reviewing. Hopefully, I'm on the right topic this time. The issue that I see that I'm waiting to see if any of the agenda, any of you on the board or any members would like to address in their own comments. Not as a response to my comment, but in their own comments. Why are we dropping the ball? Why are we allowing the licensees to not follow rules and guidelines? And when you have a sense of review, is that review being pushed to the courts and the judges and the administration? They can see that there's issues with licensees and they should not be continuing on. I mean, who's regulating that? And how come we're not on top of that? And why are we allowing them to control the board? That's what I'm saying.
All right, thank you. And those are all of our requests for this agenda item. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator. And I just did want to note that I did have a connectivity issue, so I lost connection for 30 seconds, but I'm joined on during that public comment. So thank you, for, Cynthia, for the presentation and to the individuals that made public comment. At this time, we will turn to item number 11 on our agenda. Angela, what items have you recorded from our meeting today for consideration of inclusion for a future agenda?
Hi, Bertha. There were no requests for future agenda items during the meeting.
Thank you, Angela. Advisory committee members, would you like to add anything? Seeing as no one has indicated that they'd like to add anything, I would now like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public in Sacramento requesting to make comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I'd like to now turn to the moderator to call for public comments from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx. Moderator?
All right, WebEx, now is the time to raise your hand to make a comment on agenda item 11, future agenda items. If you'd like to make a comment, raise that hand by tapping the hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. And our first request is coming from James Counts II. Hold on just a moment, please. We are sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Thank you. This is James Counts, CPA, CTFA. Future agenda item, I would suggest a discussion on what may need to be in the future next sunset review report to the legislature. And such items as what can be done to fix the budget from the revenue to the expenditure side. From the revenue side, I think one of the things missing from the licensing fee structure is I think there ought to be some system for identifying an annual CPI increase in the fees based as I said, strictly on CPI. Maybe rounded to the nearest $25 or even $50 amount. And so that slowly it's raised over time and helps again for the budget. Also, if there's anything that the legislature can do to help moderate or modify or reduce the charges coming from the Department of Consumer Affairs to the Bureau, because the major increases in expenses are coming from these charges the Bureau
30 seconds.
The department charges the Bureau. And in theory, the Bureau has no leverage to adjust those or control those. And so somehow budget needs to be fixed, and there's several things that should be discussed for the sunset review request of the legislature. Thank you for allowing me to comment.
Thank you. Next, we're going to hear from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute.
All right, thank you very much. I wanted to just say something real quick. Anything that any of these requests for the meeting, for the future meetings, they come from pursuant to these this act called the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, Government Code 11120. The Bureau's mandate under Professional Fiduciaries Act, Business and Professional Code 6500, to protect the public. Okay, the deficiencies that I'm looking at when a fiduciary license is issued, citations or found a citation or found in violation of the Professional Fiduciaries Act, the Bureau's current practice is publicly post the citation on the Bureau's license lookup website. And they're hoping that the opposing counsel, litigants, or judges independently discover the citation through the database, and they take no affirmative action to notify the court where the licensee is appointed of record. Why this is failing. And fiduciary managing, I just want to finish up. Fiduciary managing an estate or in probate court may have active citations or violations regarding breach of fiduciary duty, failure to file accountings, or ethical misconduct. The judge handling the case remains unaware of these regulatory. Yes, this is the agenda meetings then.
I just want to make sure that we are on the future agenda items topic and what might be your request.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm going to get to it, but I have 2 minutes, if you don't mind allow me. If you allow me to just finish it, I'll get it. It's all the same question. It's all the same comment. So deficiency, unless someone, it says the judge handling the case remains unaware of these regulatory deficiencies unless someone manually searches the Bureau database. The licensee continues managing a vulnerable asset, sometimes for months or years, while under disciplinary cloud. This practice violates the public protection mandate of the professional. No, you have to add on because she interrupted me. This is the Professional Code 6501. So what I'm looking for is the under California Government Code 8658 and the inherent the regulatory agency duty to report and the inherent power of the Bureau chief to file administrative notices directly with the courts of competent jurisdiction. The Bureau should file a notice of pending completed disciplinary action with the Superior Court in every probate matter where this or any case where the cited licensee is appointed. So the demand is immediately. Sir, I was interrupted. Directed the chiefs or anybody in the Bureau to adopt administrative protocol requiring automatic notification to the Superior Courts whenever a citation is issued to a licensed fiduciary.
I have to mute your microphone now. You were given extra time.
I had interrupted.
You were given extra time.
I was interrupted.
I'm muting your microphone.
No.
Seeing no other requests, you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you, Angela. And thank you to the individuals who provided public comment. At this time, we will now move to item number 12 on our agenda. The next advisory committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 11th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Please note the date for the remaining meetings are June 2026 has changed since announced at the September meeting. For 2026 calendar, the meetings will be held on June 3rd, September 9th, and December 9th. All meetings will be held in an in-person location and by teleconference via WebEx and webcast. Are there any questions or comments from advisory committee members? I will have a comment, Angela, that I'll be reaching out because I believe I do have a comment, a conflict for June 3rd. Does anyone else have any comments?
I may have a conflict on June 3rd myself, but I will follow up with the Bureau.
Yeah, I also have a conflict with June 3rd.
Thank you, advisory committee members. We'll follow up, Angela, by email after the meeting. Thank you. I would like to invite members of the public attending the meeting in Sacramento to provide comments about this agenda item. Cynthia, are there any members of the public in Sacramento who would like to make a comment?
There are no members of the public requesting to make comment. I return the meeting back to you.
Thank you. I will now ask for the moderator to call for the public comment about from any individuals attending this meeting via WebEx. I will once again say that we are on item agenda number 12, and we are discussing the future dates of the advisory committee meeting. Moderator?
All right, WebEx, now is the time to raise your hand. You can do so by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. Our first request is coming from ANO.us. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone. You may need to dial *6 in order to unmute.
Great. Okay. So regarding the March 11th, 2026 agenda, the date. So the date that I'm looking at, I was wondering if we can go ahead and when would the time be that I can go ahead and submit something so that it could be on the agenda, so it can be passed, because the courts, like I said, the courts are I do not have any information about what's going on with us with the fiduciary licensee. So so administrative protocol requiring automatic notification is what I'm suggesting. Citation issued to the fiduciary license. The violation of Professional Fiduciary Act is sustained, or a fine on order of abatement is imposed. The draft proposed legislation to amend the Professional Fiduciary Act to codify the requirement. The statutes to specify the form and the content of the notice, serviced upon the court and the licensee, the timing of the notice, and
Yes,
and the
sir.
consequences. And March 11th, 2026
Sir.
would be so
Sir.
the date that on the 26th.
Sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sir, this
Yes, ma'am.
agenda item is only on the dates of the meetings, not what might be discussed at the meetings. So we're just
Oh, when would that be?
setting our
When would that part
calendar.
be?
We're just setting our calendar right now, and that's just the only purpose of this agenda item. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So I'd like to set the calendar.
And I
for,
have paused
for
the timer. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, I'd like to just have I'd like to have the date set at an earlier date so we can discuss issues with that have not been discussed in tens of years. It's not been adjusted. They're talking about the $10,000 minimum for a bond. Identity bond needs to be raised. That's what I'm talking about. So March 11th, so the March 11th, 2026 meeting needs to raise this question about about the situation where the bonds are very low. If you're handling $20 million in assets, and you have a $10,000 minimum bond, indemnity bond, that's a big error. So let's wake up, guys.
30 seconds.
Okay,
Yep,
just as a reminder, we're just setting the dates. So we haven't set our agendas yet. So this item is only about the calendar.
Yep, as if it's going to be any difference. Go ahead.
All right. Is that what you wish to say? If you would like to continue about the calendar, you have 24 more seconds. All right. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to hear from James Counts II. Hold on just a moment, please. We're sending you a request to unmute your microphone.
Yeah, James Counts, CPA, CTFA. I know normally you've been holding your meetings on Wednesday, and for that particular meeting of June 3rd, given you've got issues with your advisory board members, I don't know if it's possible that maybe the Department of Consumer Affairs, based on other bureaus and agencies within the department needing to have meetings, maybe using the various facilities on another day. Maybe you could, just for that one meeting, change with somebody that would fit with the advisory board meetings, but leave all the other meetings, on your normal schedule. The department is suggesting, but I do request that you schedule a date that would work with the advisory board members, because I think the information is useful and beneficial, that you have at the meetings, and I'd appreciate whatever it takes to have the meeting, it be made available. Thank you for allowing me to comment.
Thank you. And those are all of our requests for public comment at the moment. Do you wish to continue with the agenda?
Yes, thank you, moderator, and thank you to those who provided public comment. We've now reached the end of our meeting. This meeting will now be adjourned. The meeting is adjourned at 11:07, and thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to meeting again with you on March 11th, 2026.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Mhm.